I look forward to an America which will not be afraid of grace and beauty. I look forward to an America which will reward achievement in the arts as we reward achievement in business or statecraft. And I look forward to an America which commands respect throughout the world, not only for its strength, but for its civilization as well. And I am certain that after the dust of centuries has passed over our cities, we too will be remembered, not for victories or defeats in battle or in politics, but for our contribution to the human spirit.
From the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, the 12th Annual Kennedy Center Honors. A celebration of the performing arts honoring Harry Belafonte, Claudette Colbert, Alexandra Danilova, Mary Martin, William Schumann. An evening of tribute and entertainment by their distinguished colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Cronkite.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight marks our 12th Kennedy Center Honor Ceremony, an evening in which we celebrate the richness of the performing arts in America. On this night, when President Bush directs his attention to the business of world peace, we thank you, Mrs. Bush, for so graciously directing your attention to the performing arts. It was Leo Tolstoy who said, "Art is human activity having for its purpose the transmission to others of the highest and best feelings to which men have risen." Well, the five we honor tonight have done just that, given the highest and best of themselves. A musician from New York City's West Side, whose classical compositions resound with the sound of America. A Paris-born actress, whose performances on stage and screen blended the best qualities of European charm and American vitality. A ballerina in the grand tradition whose journey began in St. Petersburg, Russia at the dawn of this century. A singing, dancing sensation from deep in the heart of Texas, who went on to become Broadway's brightest musical star. A lad from Harlem, whose voice and spirit carried him to the highest reaches of the performing arts. A few hours ago, just a few blocks from here, the First Lady welcomed our honorees and offered them the nation's gratitude.
Good evening. Welcome to the White House. Someone once said that art is not an end in itself. It is a means of addressing humanity. Tonight we gather in this historic East Room to celebrate 5 Americans who have devoted their lives to art, and in so doing have enriched the lives of countless millions in this country and around the world. William Schumann, Claudette Colbert, Harry Belafonte, Alexandra Danilova, Mary Martin, how delighted we are to have had the pleasure of your company. You have taken us nearer to the stars and closer to the foot of the rainbow. And I speak for all America when I say thank you for sharing your best with us for all these years.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gregory Peck.
I'm here to pay tribute to my dear friend, Claudette Colbert. And don't worry, Claudette, I'm not going to tell the truth about you and Clark Gable. At the 7th Annual Academy Award ceremony in 1934, the winner for Best Actress of the Year was declared to be Claudette Colbert, for it happened one night. But the lady was nowhere to be seen. She was at that moment at the railroad station, waiting to board the train for New York, certain in her mind that the coveted prize would go either to Norma Shearer for the Barretts of Wimpole Street or to Grace Moore for One Night of Love. What to do? An alert pressman dashed to the station to fetch Claudette. She shocked him by saying she didn't want to collect her Oscar. "I'll miss my train," said she, "and besides, I'm not dressed." The pressman yelled, "But this is the Nobel Prize of Motion Pictures." Well, that had a ring to it. So the conductor agreed to hold the train. Claudette and her escort rushed off to the banquet. Shirley Temple, standing on a chair, handed her the statuette. She made a brief, eloquent speech, thanked her director, and departed for the waiting train. She'd been at the ceremony a full 6 minutes. And I'm happy to tell you that for tonight's ceremony, Claudette is dressed to the nines. She has no train waiting, and she's promised to stay with us all evening. That picture was, of course, It Happened One Night. Her co-star was Clark Gable, and her director was Frank Capra. Mr. Capra, recalling the filming of the famous hitchhiking scene, tells how Claudette balked at first at hiking up her skirt for the close shot on her leg. But when she saw her double's leg, she said, "Oh, well, we can do better than that." What she proceeded to do, and the whole world sat up and took notice. Long before I became a friend of Claudette's, I was a fan. And when it came my turn to go west and make movies, I hoped that one day I'd play opposite her, but they kept telling me that I was too young. Now I'm too old. After a fabulous career as a reigning queen of Hollywood and some 64 films, the time came when Hollywood no longer offered Claudette roles that interested her, so she very sensibly returned to her roots on Broadway. And here is what Frank Rich of the New York Times, a tough customer, had to say about one of her performances. "Miss Colbert is simply a wonder." And what does Colbert have to say about Colbert? Just say, "I've been very, very lucky." And so have we. Lovely, bright, funny, glamorous, beautiful Claudette. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you now France's greatest gift to the United States since the Statue of Liberty, Claudette Colbert.
Observe, Caesar, a most unusual design. Oh, well.
Greetings to Caesar from Egypt.
Very amusing joke.
Emily Lily Chaussoin moved with her family from Paris to New York when she was 3. Her mother kept them very French. She was studying to be a fashion designer until a playwright she met at a party offered her a small role. Her only line was, "It's such a lovely party." 4 years later, she was playing the leads. "Legs Colbert," said Walter Winchell, "is the toast of Broadway." On the other coast, talkies had arrived, and with them, the urgent need for stars with golden voices. Claudette was one of the first to be courted. She accepted a long-term contract, moved to Hollywood, and got stuck in goody-goody roles. Then Cecil B. DeMille asked, "How would you like to play the wickedest woman in the world?"
Why, Marcus, what an impetuous young man.
I shall beg your pardon properly tomorrow.
Why not tonight?
Because I'm in great haste tonight on the Emperor's most urgent business.
Come here. I'm the Emperor's most urgent business.
Then they gave her parts she could have some fun with.
Come and hold me tight, you great big daddy, and do like you do. It's oh so cold out, I can hardly hold out. Still, I'm waiting for you.
She caught the eye of director Frank Capra, who cast her in a comedy about a runaway heiress and a brash newspaperman who quarreled their way across country.
Do you mind if I try?
You? Don't make me laugh.
Oh, you're such a smart Alex. Nobody knows anything but you. I'll stop a car, and I won't use my thumb.
What are you going to do?
The system on my own.
It Happened One Night was box office boffo. Claudette won the Oscar, and the country couldn't wait to see her in the next Battle of the Sexes. In this golden age, she was sophistication with spunk.
You tell your president that if I can't buy pajamas without the trousers, I'll
buy the trousers. Yes, I may buy the trousers. How do you do?
How do you do, madame?
How do you do? How do you do?
I'm looking for pajamas for a gentleman. And for his purpose, the trousers are enough. Now, let's see. How about this one?
Stripes? I hate stripes.
Oh, now that's funny. When I was standing at the other counter, I was watching you.
You were?
Oh, I hope you don't mind.
Not a bit.
Well, I said to myself, now, if I had to select pajamas for that gentleman, what would I choose? And let me tell you, if ever there was a stripy type, it's you.
Pardon, monsieur, but monsieur's table has been ready now for some time.
Well, I'm waiting for a lady.
Then you will be three.
Breakfast, or would you like me to bake you something right here at the table?
I like a witty woman, too.
In more than 60 films, she gave to each role intelligence and emotional generosity. When the time came to make a graceful exit, she flew like a homing pigeon back to Broadway. He starred with Claudette in 3 films, Midnight, Guest Wife, and Sleep My Love. She played on Broadway with Claudette in Aren't We All? Don Ameche and Lynn Redgrave.
Following that scene in It Happened One Night, Clark Gable asks, "Why didn't you take off all your clothes? You could have stopped 40 cars." She simply smiles, "We didn't need 40 cars." That was Claudette.
I'm thinking of another line in a picture, the first picture we made called Midnight. In the picture, these 2 characters were roaming around Paris in the dawn. And I asked this girl what she was doing there, and she said she was looking for work. And I said, "What kind of work?" And she said, "Well, at this time of the night, I'm not looking for needlework." That was Claudette.
She was feisty, unpredictable, smart, and resourceful. The Colbert heroine always walked the earth in sensible shoes, even if they were designed by Chanel.
There was a time when America needed to laugh. We were in the midst of the Great Depression then, and for so many, laughter was all they had. Nobody understood that better than Claudette. She said people needed fantasy. They needed dreams of splendor and glamour, and it was our job to give it to them.
It's a dream that's still needed today, and happily, Claudette is there to supply it.
And so, my friend, in case you haven't figured out yet how we feel about you, here's a song Maurice Chevalier sang to you in the Big Pond. To the French we say, merci, merci, for you, and that Miss Liberty, for you brought a new kind of love to me.
When I learned someone could look like you and have a sense of humor too, oh, you taught a new kind of love to me.
You always look so chic, and when you speak, you utter those dulcet tones.
And we poor women sigh and wonder why we can't be one of your clothes.
You're the essence of je ne sais quoi.
And not to mention, ooh la la,
Oh, you
brought a new kind of love to me. We're here to give a cheer for your career, an honor that's overdue.
And now that I recall, best of all, I enjoyed playing with you. It's true, it's true, it's true.
On a special night, we raise a glass to someone who has so much class.
Oh, you brought a new kind of
You taught a new kind